Coos meteor shower, right?
Okay.
So get up because of the moon when it sets. Got up at 2 a.m. was going to be ideal time to see it.
Fog in.
Again. Go back to bed, go to sleep, wake up, reset it for 4. This is the show we're seeing. Go out, come back.
You live in Van and it's always fogged in. Awesome.
No.
Let's be ready to rock and roll.
I'm letting Lindsay in.
We'll be wait a second.
Can you get louder there, Melissa, for me?
Mike's on every tape, but he's got to memorize.
I can hardly hear
You need it louder in that room.
Yeah, please.
Okay, hold
Yeah, please, I need it louder.
Harper, do you have it, or do you want me to come in?
There we go.
Say something else.
1, 2, 3.
There we go.
Oh, that's
Perfect.
good.
Okay.
Thank you. Press half down feet.
Good to go.
We're golden.
Okay, welcome to the Coos County Area Transportation District CCATD Board of Directors. 9:03 more meeting on August 12th at the South Coast Business. Okay, call a meeting to order. We do a roll call, please, Melissa.
Certainly. Director Vesey,
Present.
Director Nelson,
Present.
Director Johnson,
Present.
Director Devenspike,
Present.
Director Mason Long, Director Clausen.
Here.
Director Baker. We do have a quorum of the Board of Directors. We also have with us today Lauren Morris, Lindsay Ward, Harper Thompson from the Advisory Committee. We have for staff, David Ruckowitz, our Communications Officer. We have a guest, Michael Babcock. Good morning.
Excellent.
And we have Jennifer Boardman from ODOT and Jane Stebbins, our counsel.
Welcome everyone on this beautiful Monday morning. Okay. Do we have any changes to the agenda? Okay. Citizens' comments on agenda items limited to 3 minutes. I'll be a citizen for a second. I want to congratulate all the people who went to the Oregon Joint House Senate Committee meeting at Marshfield. Very well represented by our group here. Speakers were excellent. And it was impressive because they got to hear our concerns, and excellent praise on Melissa Metz, who's done a fabulous job. So I really appreciate the people who spoke, even those that didn't speak, like myself, because we were represented by a mini crew, and it was wonderful to have an opportunity to go to that meeting. But I'm not going to the Medford one, though. Thank you. Any other citizens' comments on agenda items, etc.?
Michael has his hand up.
Oh, there you go. Sorry, Michael. No glasses on.
So can I go real quick?
You know it.
Hey guys, thanks for first of all, thanks for doing a hybrid meeting. Really appreciate that, because that allows some of us who may not be able to come in person to participate and know exactly what's going on. I have 2 things on my list that I just want to bring to the board's attention. The first of which is related to the website. So we'll preface this by stating that I am the president of the Southwestern chapter of the American Council of the Blind. And I am super excited to see the website changes. I visited, well, the potential of website changes. I visited the rideklamath.org website with my screen reader. I use JAWS, and it was a very simple process. As a dial-a-ride rider, I appreciate the potential of being able to book rides online, because sometimes I know I need to go somewhere, but I don't want to pick up the phone. So being able to go to a website and book that would be amazing. I'd like to offer my skills as a screen reader to help with any screen reader user to help with any sort of testing to ensure accessibility. Full transparency, I am not a professional accessibility tester, but I do help organizations with providing feedback about what I, as a screen reader, expect to be the behavior for the website that I am visiting. I do have the capability of testing on iPhone, Android, Mac, and Windows. So if necessary, I can get contact details to whoever may be interested. Just two more actual real brief things. Number one, we'd be interested in having a visitor from either your board or staff come to our next Southwestern chapter to discuss with our blind members what services are available for blind riders who may struggle with being able to access a regular bus stop. And that is the second Saturday of September if you're interested. And then lastly, let's talk about your audio so we can make your guys' audio in person sound a lot better for those on Zoom, because honestly, it's a little difficult. And I feel a little sorry for individuals who might have some hearing loss who are joining on Zoom. So I can help you with facilitating better audio if that's something you guys are interested in. And thanks for your time.
Excellent. Thank you. Appreciate it, Michael. Yeah, September 14th, you're looking at?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. You're welcome.
Excellent. Any other citizens' comments? Okay, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda before we might want to talk about it?
I move to accept the consent agenda as presented.
Thanks, Tara. And do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Michael? We're gonna move in a second. Any of the documents you want to talk about? Minutes, financials, ridership.
I was pleased to see the ridership seems to be up this year compared to the last years. So that's a good sign.
That is a good sign. I really like our PR online presence lately. The videos are just very impressive. The young kids that are doing that stuff, because everyone's young compared to me, it is unbelievable. It is so fascinating to see. And they just talk about $1, this and this and that. It's, if you haven't had a chance to go online and Facebook to look at our advertising, it's pretty impressive. You want to talk about that, Harper?
I was just gonna say that I know Elliot personally, the one who's kind of, I mean, in all of those videos. He did a lot of videography stuff for Marshfield before that. He's done a lot of stuff for Key Club. And so when I wasn't at that meeting when you guys introduced him, but when I saw him online on our CCATD buses, it was really nice. And I sent him a message and said, hey, congrats. It was really fun to see it. And they are really good videos.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. We've got a motion and a second to accept the consent agenda as presented. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Oppose? Abstain? There we go. Shelley has been added. Welcome, Shelley. That's good. Okay, old business, it says none. Okay, we're gonna go on to new business, website redesign. Melissa, you got some knowledge on that you want to share?
Yes, thank you. We here at CCAT, we have been working for quite some time to make sure that we have real-time information about our public transit services so that our customers, when they are in our communities, they know exactly where our buses are and where to pick up our buses and what time they're going to be arriving and what time they'll can expect to then arrive at their location that they desire to move to. We have done quite a bit of work in reviewing websites and what we want. And I would like to move forward with the proposal from the MAC. And of course, I have the acronyms, but not there.
Madison Avenue Collective.
Madison Ave Collective, there we go. They have a proprietary plugin that works with Passio. Passio is the new, just as a reminder, the new scheduling software that we'll be using. And that is Clackamas Rides is the transit center that has implemented Passio and the MAC transit map, which I think sets the bar for quality of information distribution to the public. And I think that Coos County Area Transportation District and the citizens of Coos County deserve to have that level of transparency and real-time information, and that's a priority. And so before you is the cost comparison that I did just as a point of reference of other vendors. But again, the plugin that we're interested in is proprietary with Madison Ave Collective. And it comes with a price point. I'm just going to be clear about it. It comes with a price point, but this is the most important tool for communication with the public. And so if there are questions on the proposal, we can open up the floor to the directors.
Why don't we get a motion in a second, and then we can have any questions that you might want, and then you can vote it down or up or sideways, whatever you choose. So could I get a motion on the floor to accept the proposal from Madison Avenue Collective?
I so move.
Thank you. And a second?
Second,
There we go. We got a motion, a second. So what are some questions people might have? If you have any questions that you might ask Melissa.
Well, I had a lot of questions, so I went and did a lot of, maybe an hour or two of checking into MAC, Madison Avenue Collective, and why were we going to spend this kind of money with them? And I came away very impressed. As sort of a skeptic at first, I'm a total buy-in on this as recommended.
Thank you, Mike. Mike spends an hour. That's good. He likes to investigate since we were on ponies and horses. Yeah. Any other people got any questions or comments?
I think that this is something that's worth investing in. Instead of trying to do it on a shoestring budget, we want it to be effective. And there's nothing more frustrating than using an app that doesn't work the way it's supposed to, whether it's because it crashes or provides inaccurate information or the vendor under delivers and over promises.
Good point, Tara. We've dealt with that in the past in a few purchases over the years. Okay, any more comments or questions?
It's like a full website redesign. Like I was here for the last meeting, so a little bit.
So Melissa, did you hear what Harper
No.
said?
Can you
Is
repeat
this like
that?
is this a full website redesign or like what is? Okay.
It will be, yes.
Thank you.
Good question. Any other opportunities for questions or comments?
well, I just think you get what you pay for, and this is the direct customer service. And so probably the most important for our customers to be able to, I noticed, when we were at the joint House and Senate listening committee, I was approached by someone who said it's very difficult to figure out, where the routes are and whatever have you. So I think this is going to be very welcomed by the community.
Good point, Shara. Thank you. Okay, we've got a motion and a second to move to accept the proposal from Madison Avenue Collective. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Oppose? Abstain? There we go, Madison Avenue. Okay, next one, we've got engagement of the auditor for fiscal year ending 2020, June 2024. Go ahead, Melissa.
Having an annual audit is a requirement of the receipt of the federal funds that we receive. And so it is then a requirement to secure an auditor. And we were pleased with the services we received from CLA and recommend a second year of service from them.
Okay. We have a motion to secure the contract for audit firm. We have a motion
I move.
and a second.
This is Tara, I second.
Thank you. I do know that they called me on the phone, asked me questions while I was going golfing. And I'm impressed that they got a hold of me and they asked me about our transparency and questions about what goes on. And he was asking some pretty good questions, and our crew here does a fabulous job. So I would recommend them for sure. That's a good crew. Any other questions about this? Okay, all those in favor? The motion to engage in contract with CLA, say aye. Aye. Oppose? Abstain? There you go. Audit on. Passio additional module. Go
So-
ahead.
As we've mentioned, Passio is the new scheduling software that we're rolling to. There is a module that will allow us to count for the demographic information of people who are getting on and boarding and deboarding. And demographic information is imperative for continued funding and for justification for increased funding. And so it is our recommendation that we add this module so that we can prepare sufficient reports for ODOT and for national transit reporting.
We get a motion first before we do have any more discussion to accept the quote for the passenger counting module on the mobile data terminals.
I move. I think we need to do this.
Thank you, Mike.
I second.
Thank you, Shara. It's on the back of the page. Got it. So, in order to get a lot of funding, if you don't know, we have to have the statistics. And this will make it easier to input the statistics because there's possibility, we've had an opportunity to get more funding, but we didn't have the data. And now we'll have the data, and that should be a good situation. Isn't that right, Melissa?
That's correct.
That's what we figured. Any questions on that for Melissa? Okay, all those in favor of move to accept the quote to the passenger counting module, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Oppose? Abstained? Count on. Bay City brokerage. Go ahead, Melissa.
Thank you. So I reached out to Bay Cities brokerage because we have some excess capacity, specifically in Bandon and Cook Hill Myrtle Point. And to explore for CCAT picking up some additional non-emergency medical rides. And it will also increase revenue coming into the district. I forwarded the contract to Jane, and Jane identified some areas that we will want to work through with the brokerage. And one being in the indemnity clause, and then there was another point in the contract that they wanted originals, but we need to keep our own originals. And so we're looking for the board support and us moving forward with negotiating a contract with Bay Cities brokerage to accept non-emergency medical rides as capacity allows.
We'll go ahead and get a motion, and then we can have a talk about that.
I move to negotiate a contract with Bay City brokerage to accept this non-emergency medical ride under the contract as capacity is available.
Thank you. And do we have a second?
Second.
Mike seconds it. The way I look at it, if we're getting the opportunity to get additional funds, we'd be crazy not to get additional funds, because that will, plus then people say, hey, I can take the bus. I can take the bus. We want the people to want to take the bus. Anyway, transportation, whatever. We want as many people on our bus as possible. and then we'll have a good problem like that.
And yet, I think there could be some pushback at the same time of people who would prefer a car over a bus and this and that. So I don't know how that's gonna be figured out. I personally have taken the car, the brokerage, as an attendant with clients that I work with, and you know, I think the bus is gonna be safer and, you know, to some degree, more pleasant. I think some of the conversations in some of these cars with other passengers and such and whatever is challenging at times, but I do think that, you know, there's gonna be preferences, you know, of our, you know, of the people who take those rides, so see how that goes.
One thing is they'll have a choice now.
Yeah.
That's the thing. They have, if they don't want to ride the bus, that's fine. If they want to ride a car, that's fine. They can choose. Whereas before, weren't they limited? A lot of people
No,
didn't know.
I don't know that there's gonna be a choice is the thing. I
You don't
think you
think
get it assigned. You call up as a you know, as a passenger and say, I need this ride at such and such a day, such and such a time, and it's whoever shows up at the door.
Okay,
Yeah, so we may, you know, there may be some.
we'll see.
different
Any other
discussion.
questions or comments? Jane? You have any questions or comments? Legal lady?
I mean, no, I already made mine to Melissa and she's working on them. I think it's incredibly cool that you guys are doing this, but I'd like to get it so that the contract protects us the same way that it protects Space City's brokerage before we sign it.
That makes 100%. Excellent.
I've got a
Go ahead,
question,
Mike.
regarding the amount of money they're giving, Bay City Brokerage is giving us for those rides, and it seemed that they're getting a bargain on that. Any chance for upside potential now or in the near term?
Well, it's a fully allocated trip cost. So it's not for the purposes of netting profit. It is really securing the fully allocated costs. And so for us in that area, it's estimated at $31 a trip per person.
Yeah, that was the number that I was at
Melissa-
least slightly disappointed in.
Melissa, can you explain what you mean by trying to get the fully allocated cost and how that helps us?
So right now, for a dial-a-ride in Coquille, Myrtle Point, and Bandon, fare is $2 per trip per person. And so when we add all the overhead and we don't have federal funds subsidizing the cost of a trip, the trip is budgeted out, or not budgeted, but if we look at historical for like the last 12 months, it would be $31 per trip per person. And so what we would do is we bid on rides. And so we would let the brokerage know that, yes, we'll do the ride and we'll do it at $31 a trip. And then other vendors may or may not bid on that same ride. And then whoever wins the ride then provisions the ride. But we can't undersell. We can't undersell and have you know, federal funds subsidize other programs in that way, because it's not a public transit service at that point. It's a brokered service. A contract.
So it's gonna be a dedicated bus going to them, or it's gonna be part of
Access.
Yeah.
access? Okay.
So
Access capacity.
So like, for example, if in Bandon right now, we have days that there's only 4 trips in a day. It's pretty hard to have a staff person staff from 8 to 4:30 when you only have 4 trips to provision in that day. So we would look at the available slots the day before, and then we would bid on other rides through the brokerage that would be in Bandon, for example, and try to fill up those vacant spots, so our driver is actually working during the full time.
That makes total sense.
Yeah.
Any other questions in regards to that?
So that means that the buses from Bandon are picking up the brokerage people and regular passengers and going kind of the milk run to get to North Bend Medical or something? Is that, I mean,
No, the Bandon bus will stay in Bandon.
okay.
So if I have a medical thing in Coos Bay and I'm in Bandon, I'll take the bus, it'll be $31 to get to it because the
So
bus
just
is
keep in
died
mind,
runway.
the Bandon bus will stay in Bandon. So
Okay, it's a different bus.
So if we may or may not bid on a person needing to go from Bandon to Coos Bay North Bend. And it would be significantly more than $31 a trip. $31 a trip is staying within the city limits.
Okay,
Okay.
good questions. So we have a motion on the floor to move to negotiate a contract with Bay City brokerage to accept non-emergency medical rides under a contract as capacity is available. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Oppose? Abstain. Thank you. General manager report, Melissa.
There we go. How about now? Now that I'm not muted, I'm going to share a document. Believe it or not, we're coming up where we need to do planning for the next biennium. It seems like, we just started the biennium. And so we'll be calling on our advisory committee members to provide significant input during this time. And it's important that we get our advisory committee. Right now we have 2 vacancies. It would be really behoove us if we can get those 2 vacancies filled, because we're going to be entering into a time period where we're prioritizing services and where we want to spend our money for the next biennium. And having 2 vacancies on our advisory committee unfilled is not a good practice. We'll just say that. So if you know individuals who want to give feedback on our plans for the next biennium, please reach out to them, encourage them to fill out an application. I know that David's going to do a promo for us on Facebook so that we can make sure everyone knows that we have these vacancies and this opportunity to provide public comment and input on what our priorities are for the next 2 years. Starting last week, we received from ODOT that they accepted our letters of interest to submit 2 discretionary grants. One, again, of course, to support our capital project of the Transit Center and Mobility Hub. And second, potentially doing a pilot for a van pool for Powers.
Good.
September 5th, then I need to submit those 2 applications. And then September 6th, then we will seek support from the SWACT on our 2 projects. September 9th, then, is our next, it'll be a joint board of directors and advisory committee meeting. And this is where the advisory committee starts their deliberations on our STIF priorities for the next biennium. So it's like, and we'll be hearing public comment. So we'll again be working with David and making sure we get information out so that we can get participation and input into our priorities. Then we'll let that lay over for a month, and then we'll go ahead and have the advisory committee formally recommend to the board of directors on our priorities. The board of directors will approve a 5310 solicitation. So part of our federal funds is called 5310, and that is to help special populations such as seniors, those with disabilities, access public transit. And so there's a solicitation requirement. And so we'll put a notice out that these funds are available. Generally, SCABEC does the solicitation. CCAT will then be one of the respondents as one of the primary provisioners of public transit in our area. So then SCABEC will post the public solicitation, and then responses will be due for the 5310 solicitation November 29th. December 9th, then the advisory committee will review the responses, and we'll have a STIF plan for the advisory committee to recommend to the board of directors. There'll be an opportunity for public comment. And then we'll lay that over, and January 13th, the board of directors will approve the STIF plan and the 5310 projects. And then we'll quickly turn that around and submit to ODOT then our plan, 5310 application, our 5311 application, all to ODOT by January 16th. Quite a full plate we have between now and January. Are there
And this is the procedure we do every year, so this isn't new.
every 2 years?
Yeah, we always have to do this to get our money.
Yes.
So that's why both the committees are important, because we need input from people about things. So every person is a person, no matter how small. So you're important. Everybody is. Thanks, Melissa. Do you have any more information you want to share?
No, not at this time. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, members, board members, do you have any questions or comments you'd like to share about anything transportation related? Go ahead, Mike.
I just want to comment that it's a pleasure to work with you all, and it makes it easy, makes it pleasant.
Thank you.
Second that.
True. Jennifer Boardman, you got any happy news for us?
Happy news. Let's see, your LOIs were accepted, so you can move forward with the stiff discretionary. So that's a happy
That's
note.
good.
Thank you all for attending the Joint Commission on Transportation. I didn't get to come to the Coos Bay one because I was in Eastern Oregon at another meeting, but I attended the Medford one the next day, and I got lots of good comments from Darren Neval, who is the region manager for ODOT. And he said that there was really good attendance, really good information at the round table that was there. So appreciate all of your input because it is vital for public transportation.
So
And you guys-
is that how the meetings are always run, Jennifer, just like that?
The Joint Commission on Transportation?
Yeah, because I've never been to one before.
Not typically. So this is kind of they're calling it their road show. They're heading off to Eastern Oregon next week, I believe. And then they finish up in the Portland area. But this is kind of a special road show to get out there and talk about the issues and hear from each one of the regions on problems that they have with public transportation, with regular transportation, construction, and that kind of item. And then this is going to really inform their decision as they go into the legislative session next year on how to fund projects. So basically they were, looking for information from anywhere from rail all the way to trucking and public transit, and then also maintenance. Because we do have a deficit in funding currently for our regional folks as far as maintaining the roads because of our revenue stream. So this was an opportunity for those legislators to go out, talk to everyday folk and find out what's going on in each one of the areas. Typically their meetings are held in Salem and they have specific topics that they're doing. And you do have opportunity to go and put your name in for public comment, but they typically do not hold the meetings this with this intensity in Salem. And I do want to tell you all that your board meetings are some of the most organized board meetings that we have. So that is credit
It's
to
a
Melissa.
team effort. It's
And you all
Melissa's fault.
You guys do a great job. So just want to thank you for that. Appreciate your attending too. Your attendance is awesome as well.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Any comments from anyone else? And public comment? TV guy? No TV guy. No Mariners. Okay. Next meeting is on September 9th at 9 a.m. Same place. Hey, let's go golfing. Meeting adjourned.
Yeah, I don't know.